Rejoice, ladies and gentlemen, rejoice. Akira, the groundbreaking anime film. Just such a good film. Amazing. The rights have left Warner Brothers. And what does that mean? Well, that means currently Taika Waititi's long gestating movie, a couple of years now, is dead. Now, this video is obviously discussing the brand new news that it has left Warner Brothers, but also just to discuss just how moronic this company has been in terms of trying to get it to the big screen. It doesn't make any sense. The blueprint is there for you to follow, to do it. They chose not to. And every creative turn that was revealed and teased in sort of rumours and rumblings here and there was just a flagrant display of a company not understanding what the material is and what people would want to see. Just bizarre, like truly bizarre. To dive into this movie madness with me today, please do hit subscribe and turn those bell notifications on. But here, this is the launch pad for this conversational piece. So Akira rights are up for grabs as Japanese sci-fi leaves Warner Brothers. This is an exclusive to The Hollywood Reporter, and that's why we're here using this as our jump-off point. Now, this, again, exemplifies just how bad Warner Brothers has been with it. After 20 years... 20 years, a dozen creatives, and millions spent on development, Warner's is moving on from the seminal property. It's right there for you to do. Why didn't you do it? Like, I don't want them to do it. But when you've wasted millions of dollars, how could you not develop this properly? It's really not difficult to do. Bizarre. Truly bizarre. And it really goes some way to explaining how imbeciles are in charge of these Hollywood studios, right? Like actual imbeciles, actual creative tards, right? The retardation is strong with these people, truly. These are the same idiots that can't crack a Blade script, that call everyone racist, yet everyone's going, can we have Blade, please? These people are so warped. So warped. So riding into Neo Tokyo is going to take a little bit longer. After more than 2 decades, of developing a live-action take on Japanese sci-fi classic Akira, Warner Brothers has let go of the movie rights. So the rights have reverted back to Kodansha, the manga publisher that first put out the post-apocalyptic cyberpunk story by Katsuhiro Otomo in 1982. Producers and talent are said to be lining up to attach themselves to the property in preparation to be presented to select studio and streamers. So Warner Brothers couldn't crack it, so it's gone now, right? So now a whole load of producers and talent are like, well, we'll do it instead then. Because Warner Brothers is just like up shit's creek without a paddle. They just have no idea what they're doing. So first appearing as a genre-defining manga that ran throughout the 1980s, Akira is best known as the seminal 1988 anime that was a defining moment for adult animation and Japanese culture in terms of reaching a worldwide audience. It is such an incredible film. Truly one of my favourite films. Like, absolutely, unequivocally one of my favourite films. And I got the chance to watch it in theatres as well at one point, a couple years back, and I was just like, this is amazing. So good. Subtitled, just epic. The soundtrack's just crazy cool. So Warner's picked up the movie rights in 2002 and set Blade filmmaker Stephen Norrington to first direct and adapt, with John Peters producing, right? So that was in 2002. 2002. What followed is one of the longest development hell escapades in Hollywood history, as the studio would go on to spend millions, well into the 8 figures, over the next 2 decades. So the Norrington version withered. The box office failure of his League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was a contributing factor. And several years later, Legendary was brought on board to co-finance. Now, Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Davison came on board to produce, sticking on the project like glue until the end. And I remember that. I remember doing some videos on that. I was like, okay, well, they're still here. Writers and directors that came and went include Gary Whitta, Mark Fergus, Hawk Otsby, Steve Kloves, Alan and Albert Hughes, Wam Sarah, storyboards and concept art from Tommy Lee Edwards, Chris Weston, Ray Lay, and many more were commissioned and then filed in drawers. You could open up a museum to the development of this by Warner Brothers, genuinely. Just an entire museum exhibition about this. So the project faced budgetary battles, cultural battles, because at one point, Neo Tokyo became New Manhattan. Why? And whitewashing accusations. Who? Who was doing the whitewashing accusations? Because generally speaking, every time this stuff gets like Ghost in the Shell is a prime example. People are like, oh, it's whitewashing. And the Japanese were like, no, it's great. So who was saying it? What? Fat, liberal, left-hard women? Yeah, maybe. Who cares what they think? They're childless. Just old hags, withered, taking out their anger on everyone else. No one cares what you've got to say. So yeah, entered pre-production several times in 2012. So Warner shut down production offices in Vancouver in order to take a pause to rethink the project. At the time, it had a budget of $90 million, and Tron Legacy headliner Garrett Hedlund signed on to star. Kirsten Stewart, Helena Bonham Carter, and Ken Watanabe were in negotiations. It took the studio a few years to recover and move on. Oh my god. What a shit show. So finally, yeah, in 2017, Taika Waititi came on board to help write and direct a take. That version too went pretty far. The project nabbed California film tax credits and had a May 21st, 2021 release date. It would have gone up against John Wick Chapter 4 and had casting reps on the ground in Japan as it was aiming for an all-Japanese cast. That was before Waititi got pulled into several directions because he chose to. He was in post on Jojo Rabbit, directing an episode of The Mandalorian and writing Thor Love and Thunder, and the project schedule kept shifting while gaining 2 additional producers, Garrett Bash and Jeremy Kleiner. Waititi never recommitted to Akira, and the project has been dormant ever since. So it's actually Taika Waititi's fault, which is good. Taika Waititi is the reason why this has failed, I guess, in this instance. Just what an epic shit show. What an epic shit show. So the rights to Akira are the latest to join a list of a few other high-profile properties whose screen rights have become available this year. In March, horror classic Texas Chainsaw Massacre went onto the market, as did the rights to the Jason Bourne spy stories, which had called Universal home for over 2 decades. As Akira looks to a new home for its big screen ambitions, perhaps a quote from the anime is appropriate: "The future is not a straight line. It is filled with many crossroads. There must be a future that we can choose for ourselves." I mean, just absolutely absurd. And again, like I said, this perfectly exemplifies just what a shit show Hollywood actually is. You spent 8 figures worth adapting this and you've got nothing to show for it, but people have lined their pockets. And that is why current Hollywood needs to burn to the ground and be rebuilt with competent people. Anyway, thoughts down below.